Hello, cello players. This is your video on how to tune your instrument. So, first thing you need to make sure you have is obviously your cello and your bow, but you also want to have some sort of tuner. My favorite thing that has been created in smartphones and tablets that relates to classical music is the tuner app. When I was in high school and college, I carried a separate tuner in my case that was like $80. Now, I use an app that was free. And honestly, I don't even know where that tuner is anymore because I haven't used it since college. All right, so my two favorite apps that I guarantee you can get in the Apple App Store, I think you can get them in whatever it is that Android phones and tablets use. I've never owned an Android phone or tablet, so I honestly can't tell you 100% for sure what is available there, but I think they are. So the first one is called Tuner Lite by Score. It's completely free. And the second one is called Ins Tuner Free. All right, these are the two that are completely free that are really good. If you go to the Apple App Store and just type in tuner in the search bar, they are the third and fourth options that come down. Now, Tuner Lite by Score is my personal favorite, and it's used by a lot of other orchestra teachers. The reason why? It's more exact. It will tell you even if you are the slightest bit out of tune, while the Ins Tuner app is a little bit more vague. If you're really close to in tune, it'll just tell you you're in tune. So that's why I like Tuner Lite by Score. However, that one's also much more glitchy. Sometimes it'll just stop working and you just gotta stop it, start it again, and then it usually starts working again. Sometimes it's happy after that. Sometimes it'll die again in like 30 seconds. It's a little frustrating sometimes. However, it's really exact. Now on that one, I will show you that one because I have it up right now. Looks like that when you use it. You can change the background color. You have like 3 colors to choose from with the free version of the app. If you pay them for the app, then you get more color options, but that's really not what you're getting it for. The Ins Tuner app is really, really user-friendly. So if you are, especially like a 4th or a 5th grader, and you have not had me teach you anything about tuning your own instrument, that might be the app for you. All you have to do is you open the app and it immediately starts listening for a pitch. You don't have to push any buttons. It just goes on its own, and it even tells you if you need, with words on the screen, whether you need to tune up or tune down. It's really, really nice. It's just not as perfect in its listening as the one I prefer. All right, so when you go to play, you need to make sure you use your bow for tuning. If you notice, if you think back, I stopped using plucking on any of your tuning a long time ago. 4th graders, you were the last people that I was tuning your instruments by plucking them simply because it's faster. I might still do that. I don't think I've done that with you guys like since January. I always use usually my bow. I don't think I've ever borrowed someone else's bow for the entire class, but use a bow. Then you also want to make sure you use long bow strokes, like play half notes. Don't play short, quick notes. All right, so we don't want to be doing. We don't want to do that because just like plucking, it won't give you the true pitch of the string. We're going to do long notes. And if you think my A sounds pretty good, it's because it is. Before I started making this video, I went ahead and I tuned my cello. Now, that seems kind of a silly thing to do. I've already tuned it. How can I show you? Well, because after I tuned it, I untuned it. Now, I left my A string normal, but I made my D string too high, my G string too low, and my C string is awful. It's going to require turning the peg, which I hope none of you have to do. It's a scary thing. It's how strings break, but sometimes it is necessary. So I'm going to play my D string, and I know that it's too high, but we're going to have the tuner tell us anyway. And I have my tuner on my phone, on my music stand, just off camera. That way I can see it real well. All right, so I played. There's a needle pointing to the right side of the screen, and it's showing the letter D up above it. That means I am playing a D, but it's too high. These apps will also give you a colored light with your note. It'll tell you green means you're good, you're in tune, you're ready to go. Red means, on the ins tuner, red means you're really far away. Yellow means you're close. On the tuner light by PS score, red means wrong, green means right. They don't do anything in between, except if you're really close, you can get green and red at the same time. So since that needle was too far to the right, that means I am too high. I need to lower the string. I need to lower that pitch. So I'm going to take my fine tuner right down here. There's one attached to every single string. If you ever can't decide exactly which one to turn, just trace the string with your finger and follow it all the way down until it runs into the little screw that attaches to your fine tuner. Now, on violin and viola, a lot of times we turn the fine tuner at the same time we play with the bow. You might be able to do that. Like if you put the cello like in your armpit and play like this, you can do that. I think it's a little odd because the strings were just touching my armpit and my armpit was vibrating. So on cello, I like to just play, turn the fine tuner, play again, and keep going until I get a green light. Now, this note was too high, so that means I need to go lower. So I'm turning the fine tuner counterclockwise. All right, that means lefty-loosey to make it lower. All right, and I got a green light. I'm good. Now I'm going to go to my G string. The G is too low, so the screen tells me G, but it's way off to the left. I'm getting a red light. So I'm going to turn clockwise or righty-tighty. And don't be afraid to turn a lot with the fine tuners if you got a red light. All right, it's almost impossible to break a string with a fine tuner, especially on the cello. The only time I've ever seen a fine tuner break a string was an E string on a violin. And that was a weird brand of fine tuner that breaks strings that nobody has. At least not at our school. All right, so I'm going to play again. I actually went too far. I need to turn it lefty-loosey a little bit. Long bow strokes. Green means go. I'm good. Now, this is what my C string sounds like. Tuner says I'm playing an F. That's not a C. All right, so now I need to turn the peg. If this happens, I ask that you be very careful. Now, being a cello, your strings are a little bit stronger than the violin and viola just because they're thicker and they're bigger. Now, trust me, you can still break them. I have broken strings on cellos before by turning pegs too far. You want to, now that's why I chose my C string, because the C string is the strongest string that's not on a bass, because it's the thickest. So you want to make sure you follow. So I'm going to set my finger on the C string. I'm going to trace it all the way up into the peg box until I figure out which peg it is wrapped around. Then, if you want to make it lower, you turn it towards your face. If you want to make it higher, you turn it away from your face. It's still the same clockwise, counterclockwise, but you have to look at it sideways to think about it like that. So I like to think lower towards your face, higher away from your face. Now, whether it needs to go higher or lower, always turn it lower first. This will always release tension on the string, make it less likely to break. So, and you want to pluck it the entire time and look at your not your fine tuner, look at your actual tuner. So I'm plucking and I'm turning. I'm going to go until I see the letter C. I see the letter C. So I'm going to stop. Now, if you let go of your peg and it immediately starts to turn on its own and unwind, that means next time you next time you start turning it, you want to push in towards the scroll. All right, the way they work is they are conical in shape. So that means the closer you get to the handle part of it, the thicker it gets. So if we push it in, it gets tighter. Now, after turning the peg, you always want to check it again with your bow. Mine slipped, just like I said might happen. So this time when I turn my peg, I got to push inward. So I'm pushing in towards cello. I'm actually using my right hand too to push the other way. While I do it, it shouldn't move this time. All right, so now I'm going to play it with my bow. Now I'm going to use the fine tuner to get that green light. Actually went slightly too high. I'm going to make it a little lower. And I'm good. All right, so the last thing to tell you, is if a string breaks. Unfortunately, right now, there's not a whole lot we can do for you. Normally, if you are renting your instrument from the loft violin shop, which everyone in 4th grade is, a lot of you in 5th grade are, 6th grade, a lot of you are, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, they usually own their instruments, or you normally own your instrument, depending on what grade you are. So if your string breaks and you're still renting, normally the loft violin shop gives you another one for free. So like they give me strings, then I give them to you. Unfortunately, they are closed right now because it's not safe for them to be open because of the COVID-19 virus. So if you have a string break, there's nothing stopping you from ordering one online. However, that's costing money that you don't have to spend if you can live without it. If it's a G string or a C string, maybe don't worry about it because mostly we're just going to be playing songs on our D's and A's unless you're in 7th, 8th, or 9th grade. Then you really need all 4. Let's see. Actually, in 6th grade too, you do need all 4. So that's all you really need to know how to tune. All right, so be careful with your turns if you're using the pegs. Other than that, fine tuners are good. Use a tuning app or an actual tuner if you have one at home already. Don't go out and buy a tuner. It's not necessary. It's a waste of money. The apps are awesome. So, all right. Watch out for more videos from me in the future. They're going to include more songs and things that you can play. This was just to try and get you guys going. So, have fun playing at home. Now you can tune your instrument, hopefully. And wash your hands. Stay clean. Stay 6 feet away from people if you can. Except your dogs or your cats. They can't catch COVID-19, so they're good to hug. All right? See you later.